Oh, I almost lost the phone there. In this video, we're going to be talking about the number 23. 23/5, also in shorthand, 23/5. 23/5 is a very, very auspicious number. Now, this is for people who are born on the 23rd. Maybe you have a life path of 23. Maybe you're born in a year that adds up to a 23, like 1985, 1 plus 9 plus 8 plus 5. Or you may know somebody. Also, if you're born on any day that adds to a 5, also 2 energy and 3 energy, we're going to be talking about that in this video. We're going to be talking a little bit about some of the common known things about 23. We're going to get that out of the way. Then we're going to start diving into the numbers. Okay, 23/5. What is this number so renowned for? It's considered probably the generalist, most, that's even a word, generalist, most lucky number of all. It's the number of protection, divine protection. But also, it's for people who it's easy for people to network with people in positions of power that will support them, that will help them. Also, it's the angel on both shoulders number that also has a divine protection. 23/5 also has a really interesting connotation with being able to deflect karma, where there's somebody who can kind of get away with stuff, but it will kind of maybe deflect to a different generation, is what they say. This is especially true. This luck of the 23/5 is especially true for people who have a life path of 23/5. Their life is a little bit easier. They have a little bit of a nice go with the flow energy that really takes care of them, protects them. So this could be networking with, like, it could be from your parents from early life. It could be people you meet down the road, a friend of a friend introduce you, and somehow there's people in authority positions who help you out. 23 is also considered the royal star or the lion, referring to Leo here. It's a number that has a tremendous potential for alchemy, and there's a very occult energy in 23/5, which we're going to talk about when we start breaking it down. Okay, another thing with 23/5 is, according to statistics, thanks to Numerologist Pro, which I recommend as a source for Chaldean numerology information. It's who I did my master's certification with. 23/5 is the most common day of birth for supermodels. We're going to talk about why 23 is so much associated amongst all the other different fives, because 5 is considered to be a number of beauty. Why 23/5 is very, very attractive. Okay, that out of the way. Those are some of the most common things associated with it. Now, off the cuff, we can say 23/5, we already talked about they're going to be probably very beautiful. Now, this may not necessarily be, on paper, they're like beautiful. It does mean, though, that they're going to have something attractive. It could just be the way they dress. It could just be an energy signature. Something about them is sort of magnetic. Something about them is sort of attractive. Okay, now, let's start breaking this number down. First of all, we have the number 5. So, 5 here, the three main things when you're looking at a number that has a 5-digit sum. Number 1, 5 is showing the balance code for the relationship between the 2 and the 3. Number 2, it's showing the effect, balance and imbalance, of the 2 and 3, what's possible, potentials. And it's showing the conscious awareness of the number, their attitude, their style, their preferences. Okay, the balance code. When you see a digit sum 5, in this case, it's calling for a number to be dynamic, to be embrace freedom, to be open to change, flexible, quick, what's the word? Synthesize information. It's the end of the day. My brain's a little bit fried. 5s are very, very intellectual. They can synthesize, that's the word, synthesize information very quickly. They're the number of alchemy. 5 can alchemize information very, very quickly, because what is the 5's role in the creation? Let's talk about that, because it'll bring this number into better perspective. 5 is the networker. 1 creates, 1 ideates and inspires. 2, it takes that idea and adapts it for external expression. 3 is that expression, the child. 4 organizes that. 5 connects it. It's, if you could imagine a square, the 1 is the corner, the 2 is the 2 edges. On the other side is another corner and 2 edges. That's the master number 11, the master visionary. That container for expression, the container for the life as we know it, so to speak, on the earth plane, which is the law of karma, the world of karma. The 4 is the container. When the edges and the corners, that erratic space in between the square, when that starts communicating, that's the 5. And 5 ultimately creates alchemy that makes it into a face, which is the coherence, the harmony, the community, the family, the bond, the tribe. That's the 6. So 5 leads into 6. Okay, So 5 is like a cross-pollinator. They're the ones who are supposed to be exchanging information with other people. 5s need to be flexible and open to not following routines, just going with the flow. And 5s, what nobody's talking about, that I haven't heard anyways, 5s are supposed to follow synchronicity. They're not supposed to be erratic, and if they're in imbalance, they're too much interested in, because the 5 is a very curious number by nature. They're very, very much an adventurous, explorer. But they can be too much into like dopamine addictions or that quick little stimulation, that novelty stimulation. That's when 5s can go off balance. 5s really need to follow synchronicities, which is their purpose, to carry them around wherever they're supposed to go. Oftentimes, they may not even know what they're doing or why they're being called to travel, but they are working at a higher level, cross-pollinating information. Okay, so it's showing that this relationship needs to embrace that. They need to have movement, they need to have change, dynamicism, adaptability, a little bit of chaos, just going with the flow. And why is that? Because the 2 and the 3. The 3 is the Shiva of the number, the director, the directional pressure. The 2 is the Shakti, the flow and time, the way this 3 energy is modulated in the outside world particularly. The 3 wants to have raw expression. The 2 wants to make sure it's okay with everybody. So this number needs, this raw expression meets second guessing and a little bit of timidness. In imbalance, of course. Needs to have freedom, flexibility. The 2 can't be too timid. It can't be too second guessing. It can't be too over pleasing, people pleasing. It needs to let go and be dynamic. Okay, now this is the success code. Now, as a imbalanced effect, when the 2 tries to take over, when the 2 tries to be in the driver's seat and ignore the 3, the Shiva, when Shakti doesn't bow to Shiva and she goes off and does her own thing, it creates chaos, destruction, and imbalanced effects. So when the 2 tries to take over, the number becomes too sensitive, too people-pleasing, too erratic. It becomes the imbalance of 5 as the effect, which is exactly that, erratic, just seeking stimulation to feel secure. It just wants to never sit still. It wants to always keep moving around. This is the imbalance effect of 23-5. Now, in imbalance, when Shakti is bowing to Shiva, when the 2 is bowing to the 3, which means when the number is allowed to express itself in a raw way, and then the 2 takes that and organizes it and adapts it, versus trying to change the expression in advance. Oh no, don't say that because it'll hurt someone's feelings. Let the king, the Shiva, get it all out, and then the 2 adapts it. So this is why this number has the potential to be very charismatic, a very, very good communicator. Because why? 3 is naturally charismatic. Why is 3 charismatic? Because 3 is made up of a 1 and a 2. It has the ideas, and the 2 knows how to connect them to the audience. It knows what the audience wants to hear. It knows how they feel, because 2 energy is always listening. They're the listeners. Not just in terms of when someone's speaking. 2s are naturally listening to the subconscious, the subtle vibrations, the feelings, the energy in the room, and then they intuit this. Oh my God, I don't know why, but I just feel through my emotions that this is something about this person or this space. So that's why 3 is, and 3 also has the expression potential. Very, very charismatic by itself. When you add the extra 2 to it, this number really knows how to read a room. It really knows how to speak and connect the dots with the 5. Networking. Excellent networking number, but how? This is where the magic of 23 is. We're going to keep going here. 23 is not supposed to initiate. 23 is supposed to first observe and read the room and pull people in towards them. So this 23-5 creates a 52-7 on the outside, which means this 7 number, because in the imbalance of this relationship on the outside, the number can be too erratic, too much like overstimulating the nervous system, leading it to want to just separate and isolate itself because it's too overwhelming. It can feel very, very alone, like they can't connect because it's too much stimulation when they're trying to initiate. This number is really designed to feel the room, observe the energy, and then pull people in. This is a number they're supposed to react. They're not supposed to act first, they're supposed to react. First observe, and actually this number is very, very magnetic. 2 is magnetic, 7's magnetic, and it pulls the focus towards it and brings it inside. So this number and 7 energy also has that kind of ethereal, otherworldly look to them. Now if you go higher into the outer emotional diamond, this is sort of the unspoken energetic signature of the person. It creates a 67. This is the mysterious beauty. This is that otherworldly beauty and charm. That's this emotional signature behind them. So this number, you can start to understand why this number is so attractive. Again, it doesn't have to be necessarily physical looks. It can just be something about them when they're in balance, of course. If they're not in balance, they're going to seem very, very overwhelmed, a little bit aloof, a little bit too eccentric. Okay, now on the inside, it's important for the 23, they need to be thinking in the long term. They need to be aware of cause and effect because they have the relationship between the 5 and the 3 here, their inner structure. The 3 is the inner structure, the 5's kind of modulating that. So how they think, this is a number that may take a little time to mature, but they have a potential to have a really powerful mastery over raw creativity and the ability to be able to be intellectual creativity that will give them a capacity to think in ways that leads to a legacy, think in ways that leads to accumulation of power, think in ways that leads to discipline, because this relationship of the 3 and 5, the 3 is childlike energy, it's pre-structure. 5 can be very, very erratic, so dynamic, always wanting to move, always wanting the next best thing, some adventure, some sort of form of stimulation. That means this number needs 8, the discipline, strength, and perseverance. Otherwise, it can be too impatient, too erratic, and just all over the place, the way that they think. So this number is really meant to adopt a strong, powerful, persevering, detached mindset where they're considering cause and effect. They're not just thinking in ways that is for short-term gains. They're thinking for long-term accumulation of power. And now, we bring it all together. This number is designed to express itself in a way that it factors in the outer environment first. It's not just, this is what I want to say, boom. It's not like that. This number is meant to first read the room and then connect its creativity and expression to it. And it's really supposed to do this in networking. It's supposed to follow synchronicities and put itself in positions. While it may not initiate, by putting itself in positions, it will attract the right people and the right resources, especially the right support from positions of authority. And this is why 23-5 would be a really good number, especially to look at the energy you're in. Because if you put yourself in the right energy, you're going to attract the right opportunity people much, much easier. Now, granted, you are, as a 23, going to have a lot of luck in doing this. This is the way it is. Now, I said the occult energy. Now, first of all, before I get into that, this video is getting long. I think I'm going to end it up with what is the needs of this number. This number actually needs family. It needs emotional connection. While it is the 3, the childlike 3, and the kind of the lighthearted 2, and that dynamic 5 who just doesn't want to put down roots, doesn't want to get too emotional because it wants to be free so it can bounce around all over the place. Actually, what we find with this number is it has a 6 in the center of it, which means they really need some sort of roots. They need a family, a community, emotional connection to feel fulfilled. It's very, very good for them. What's also really good for them is nature. Grounding themselves in nature, putting their feet actually on the ground, spending time in the coherence of nature, that natural purity, that will really help to ground them. Also, making beauty a priority. This number is about, if you look good, you feel good. That's a big theme for the number 23. If you look good, you feel good. Not just physically, but also your environment. Keeping your environment clean, keeping it organized, keeping it harmonious. Feng Shui, which are in Vastu, and they call it in India. Vastu, Feng Shui, like this. Really good for 23. 23 would be very, very good at aesthetics as well. Okay, the occult comes from the 78/15/6. That's the inner city power when this number is unlocked. So 23-5 would actually do really, really good in studying the occult, learning how to do occult things, especially mantras. 23-5 will be really, really good at speaking mantras. This would be an excellent number because 3 is really, really good with mantras. So mantras, some sort of occult, because 5's also 5's are good magicians. 5's are good for doing like rituals and stuff like this. So this would be a good number, but again, follow a guru. 23-5 would be really good to get a good teacher, and they would have a really good luck at attracting that will teach you the occult. It might not be best to do that because although you have this protection, you may deflect bad karma from doing things in the wrong way to other people, including your own lineage. Now, just be careful with that, but you have an inherent gift for doing that. Actually, also 23-5 has a natural ability to access the Akashic records, to really understand collective memory, especially emotional memory. So this is some things about 23-5. Very, very powerful, very, very a lucky number. If you found this video helpful, give it a like so other people can find it. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, leave a comment underneath this video. If you'd like to get a reading with me, analysis, or consultation, leave a comment under this video, and also check the description. I'm starting to put my link to my website in there, where it will give my contact information. As always, if you like to see more videos like this, hit subscribe. Wishing you the best. Happy manifesting. God bless.